All right, here's a book called A Squash and a Squeeze. We read it in class today. And this one is about a woman whose house is too small. She gets advice from a wise old man. Let's see what happens. A Squash and a Squeeze by Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler. One second. All right, here we go. A little old lady lived all by herself, with a table and chairs and a jug on her shelf. A wise old man heard her grumble and grouse. "There's not enough room in my house." "Wise old man, won't you help me, please? My house is a squash and a squeeze." That means she feels like her house is very small. This book's written in British English, so there's a couple words that are different. I'll try my best to explain them to you. "Bring in your hen," said the wise old man. "Bring in my hen? What a curious plan." Well, the hen laid an egg on the fireside rug and flapped round the room, knocking over a jug. Wait a minute. She said her house is too small, so we told her to bring in a chicken? The little old lady cried, "What shall I do? It was pokey for one, it is tiny for two. My nose has a tickle, there's no room to sneeze. My house is a squash and a squeeze." And she said, "Wise old man, won't you help me, please? My house is a squash and a squeeze." "Bring in your goat," said the wise old man. "Take in my goat, what a curious plan." Well, the goat chewed the curtains and stepped on the egg, then sat down to nibble on the table leg. Bring in a chicken and a goat? Would you like to have a chicken and a goat in your house or your bedroom? I wouldn't. Let's see what happens next. The little old lady cried, "Glory be! It was tiny for two. It is titchy for three." I think that means extra small. The hen pecks the goat, and the goat's got the fleas. My house is a squash and a squeeze. And she said, "Wise old man, won't you help me, please? My house is a squash and a squeeze." "Bring in your pig," said the wise old man. "Bring in my pig, what a curious plan." So she took in her pig, who was chasing the hen and raiding the larder again and again. That means the pig is going in and eating all her food. The little old lady cried, "Stop, I implore. It was titchy for three. It is teeny for four. Even the pig in the larder agrees. My house is a squash and a squeeze." And she said, "Wise old man, won't you help me, please? My house is a squash and a squeeze." "Bring in your cow." Wait a minute. Now she's got a cow and a pig and a goat and a chicken in her house. How is that going to help make it bigger? Let's see. "Take in my cow, what a curious plan." Well, the cow took one look and charged straight at the pig, then jumped on the table and tapped out a jig. The little old lady cried, "Heavens alive! It was teeny for four, it is weeny for five. I'm tearing my hair out, I'm down on my knees. My house is a squash and a squeeze." And she said, "Wise old man, won't you help me, please? My house is a squash and a squeeze." Take them all out," said the wise old man. "But then I'll be back where I first began." She opened the window and out flew the hen. "That's better, at least I can sneeze again." She shooed out the goat and she shoved out the pig. "My house is beginning to feel pretty big." She huffed and she puffed and she pushed out the cow. "Just look at my house, it's enormous now." "Thank you, old man, for the work you have done. It was weeny for five. It's gigantic for one. There's no need to grumble. There's no need to grouse. There's plenty of room in my house." And now she's full of frolics and fiddle-dee-dees. It isn't a squash or a squeeze. Yes, she's full of frolics and fiddle-dee-dees. It isn't a squash or a squeeze. So I'm going to look right now. Did her house get any bigger? Not really, right? Her house stayed the same size. But her mind changed and her way of thinking about it changed because she saw when you have a chicken and a goat and a pig and a cow in your house, in that little space, it made it feel even tinier and tinier and tinier and tinier. And she had no space in her house. But then she took out all the animals and there was a lot more space. And she thought, there is enough space for me in this house. So also, if you're following along, tell whoever's with you, what were all the characters in this book? Okay. Remember, a character is a person or animal in the story. And what was the setting? Remember, the setting is where the story takes place and when. Have a great day. Thank you for listening.